Welcome to Station 3, where we're going to be multiplying monomials by polynomials. Something to remember vocabulary-wise is that monomial is something that only has one term. So this piece that's stuck out in front of my parentheses is called a monomial. Notice how there's no pluses or minuses, it's just a single term, 4x squared. This, on the other hand, everything inside the parentheses is called a polynomial because it has many terms. So mono means one term. Poly means many terms. So when you're talking about a monomial versus a polynomial, we're taking something that's only one term and multiplying it by something that has more than one term. When I do multiplication of a monomial by a polynomial, it's just using the distributive property. I think of it the exact same as distributing a plain number, a constant like 2 or 3 or 4. So when I'm multiplying, I need to take this 4x squared and multiply it by every term inside my parentheses. When I do this, I'm using my exponential laws and adding the exponents. So the first thing that I'm going to do is do 4x squared times 3x to the third. I'm going to worry about my coefficients first. So 4 times 3 would give me an answer of 12. And then if I have x squared, which means x times x, and I have x to the third, which means x times another x, if I'm multiplying all of these together, I end up with an x to the 5th power. 2 x's outside, 3 x's being multiplied inside. If I multiply them all, that's 5 altogether. I'm going to move to the next step and multiply my 4x squared by 2x this time. So again, I'm going to do my coefficients first. 4 times 2 gives me 8. And x squared times another x squared times one more, would give me x to the third power. X times x again. Finally, I'm going to finish my distribution by multiplying 4x squared times that negative 5. So coefficients first, 4 times negative 5 would give me negative 20. And there's not an x with the 5, so all that I have multiplied is just the x squared that I started with. So my final answer in this case is 12x to the 5th plus 8x to the third minus 20x squared. I multiplied that monomial by each term of my polynomial. All right, you know what time it is. It is time for you to give it a try. So pause the video here and you multiply this 5x to the third, this monomial, by all pieces of your polynomial in parentheses. All right, go ahead. All right, we're back and ready to check. Let's do this distribution. So we're going to multiply by my first term. 5 times 6 would give me 30. And x to the third times x squared would give me x to the 5th power. 3 x's being multiplied on the outside times the 2 x's already being multiplied on the inside. So 30x to the 5th is my first term. Next, I'm going to multiply by negative 4x. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. X to the third times another x would give me x to the 4th power. And finally, we're going to multiply by 1. Multiplying by 1 keeps everything the same. So 5 times 1 would be 5. And there's no more x's to multiply by, so I stay at x to the third power. So your final answer should be 30x to the 5th minus 20x to the 4th plus 5x to the third. When you're multiplying your monomial versus your polynomial, make sure that you're using that distributive property and that you're paying attention to both the sign of your term and also the exponent, the number of x's that are being multiplied. All right, head to your practice worksheet and get going.